Hello, how are you today? This is JilliBling and we are continuing with Eden's Garden projects. There'll be 5 of them and this is number 2. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? I love the papers and this one goes together really quick, really easy. So let's get started. I have pulled out Eden's Garden stamp set, Eden's Garden dies, the hippo dies, and they are for this label right here, 2 different sizes. Soft succulent evening evergreen stamp pads and Versamark. Okay. So that's what your pack will look like. And let's take pieces out and get started. So this is called a Z fold, and it's called a Z fold because, look at this. Does that look like, well, I guess maybe it's backwards. A Z? Well, upside down, backwards. You can have it on the other side if you like. So fold this in half. Oh, you know, and in advance of starting this project, trying to catch us early here, let me finish the fold. And then I'll show you what to have done in advance. And I'll have it listed in the description of the YouTube video. Then fold this one over. And that's what creates the Z fold. You know, every time I do this, I probably should use a score tool. But it gets a little bit wrinkly when I fold that piece over. But once you decorate it with all the layers, you hardly notice. Okay, so there's a Z fold. And on to things to do in advance is... two of these, the smaller shape, 2 of the larger shape, 2 of, this comes in your bundle, and I'm cutting it out on this, this fancy paper, which is in the annual catalog, and all this means something. I'll show you in just a minute. 2 of the gold, 2 of the rose gold, and 1 of these cut out. Okay, so we'll get back to these in just a minute. But those are the pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay, 9 pieces. I even have it written down. Here I have 13 pieces. Oh. Well, maybe I don't know how to add. But it's 9. And I'll have them listed. Okay, back to where we were. So let's do... this just gets put on the inside. That's easy. Let's do that. I think all of the soft succulent pieces just get layered inside. Nothing needs to wrap around them. So we can do that right away. That's for the label. Here they are. You know what? The designer paper too. So this one, not that the first one was hard, but it just had more pieces. This one goes together pretty easy. This is for stamping the green on. We'll do that. That's for the inside here, but I'm not going to put it in because I want to stamp on it first. This is just a layer. So if you're one that likes to write a lot on your cards, you could put a white piece of paper on the back. Here, I'll show you in just a minute. Right back here, and that would be more room to write. If you're one who doesn't like to write lots, which I have a hard time coming up with what to say. I even have a book on what to say. This card is perfect for you. Okay, look it, we're getting there. And this one. And like I said, we're going to stamp on that one first. So this is for this little bouquet right here, using this stamp into Evening Evergreen. And I wish I had my big pads. I'll look to see if I can find them, but I'm not sure where they are. But they're not here. So we'll have to use a spot. And you know, the first time I did this, the lines from the outline of the spot kept on appearing on my stamp, so I'm kind of over inking it, looking for anything that might be a line. And a lot of it's covered up, so if you don't get a perfect stamped image, it's okay. Okay, so there it is, and that came out just fine. It's really pretty. And then we are going to cut this, and I have one started. The reason I didn't finish it was the sample card. I'll hold these up close. When I was cutting this, I was cutting a little bit closer to the image, the bouquet image, and it gets lost on this busy paper. So I thought this time I'm going to cut just a little bit wider of an outline, hoping that would make it stand out a little bit more. So that's the whole purpose of not having it ready to go. Okay, so that's done. That will go right about here. These pieces are done with the label. The label's right here. There's two different sizes. The little one is the white. The larger one is the Evening Evergreen. And I'm going to do that fancy thing that I like to do with them. So if any of your dies, let me get this on here. If any of your dies, the cut line is right in the middle of the die. And see how there's this little bit of a border out here? Many times the cut line is right on the outside or right on the inside. But if you have this border here that does nothing other than texture, you could do this fancy thing. So, fancy thing right here. This is already fancied. This one isn't. These two, I don't know. I think they are. They are. So, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me see if I put them at the side, you could see it a little better. See how this one has just that extra little layer? This one right here does not. This one is just die cut. This one I already did the fancy thing to it. So, what you do is while it's still in the die, or just put it back into the die, kind of feel it nest down into there. And if it doesn't fit exactly perfect, turn it around, flip it upside down, and the die should be perfectly symmetrical, but that's not always the case. Take your bone folder, and this is too sharp and pointy, and if your bone folder is kind of like dull like that, you'll need to find something else that's a little bit pointy, but not where it will cut the paper. And then just go around that inner rim. And I did it on all of them. I love how this looks. It might not be so good for stamping on it after you get it done, but it's still worth it to me. So I hope you could see what I'm doing. And if you're a little bit of a mess on the back, that's okay, because somehow it just doesn't show. Like when I'm looking at this, it's a little bit zigzagged, but then I go back and make sure to get right along the rim. And now it has just that little extra beveling, the little panel look. Okay, so we're good with that. So have these pieces like that and that. So let's do hello there. Or you know what, I wanted to do something different. How about, I did hello there, and what did I do on the inside? Dear friend, how are you? That one's nice. I did these two. So this time let's do sending hugs. My heart is tied to yours. Tug if you need anything. That's really sweet. Okay, So when I do the sending hugs, I'm going to do it purposely a little bit over on the left side to allow room for the bouquet to kind of land on the end of this. And I'll do that with Versamark. Ooh, a nice new Versamark pad. And right about here. And then I'll get that into the powder. Close that up. Here's gold powder. Probably should have done my embossing bunny. Okay, looks good. And then the next one is that little verse about I am here. My heart is tied to yours, tug if you need anything. That's sweet. So that is going to be for the inside. And I'll put that up a little bit high so that I could stamp the bouquet down here. Well, I think I touched it a few times trying to align it. Hope it's okay. And it's a little crooked. Well, okay, I'm going to try something. On my jeans, I'll do it on my shirt. I'm going to wipe this off. If this ever happens to you, you know what to do. Not too bad. Because it's clear ink, I'm hoping it won't show through. And I will purposely stamp my little bouquet down there. Maybe I'll do something different. I don't know. But if ever you do that, now you know. Okay, my head is going in the way. I hope this is straight. Well, it's better. It's not perfect. I could see a bit of a shadow down here, but don't tell anyone. Okay, so I'm going to cook these two. Okay, in the end, I think it's fine. You might be able to see the words down there, but I'll try to cover them up. So this is going to be put on, and you could put it on just flat, or I'm going to use dimensionals because I like that little bit of a shadow. It makes underneath the white label. And on all of these projects, bling. There is bling that coordinates with this. Where's that flyer? And the bling is right here. Garden Gems, and it comes in, it looks like small, medium, and diamond shapes. Cherry cobbler, soft succulent, while supplies last. And they were sold out when I ordered my bundle, but they're back in. So everything is going to end up with a little bit of bling on it eventually. Just not today. Okay, that looks good. And this one I'm going to try to stamp something down here to cover up my kind of words. So let's see, what did I do on this one? Oh, and you know, I have something to show you. So at first, when doing these words right here, I thought I'm going to put the embossed dear friend right over the top of all of this. It doesn't work. It gets lost. So don't do that. Just saying. I know you wouldn't, but I did. Okay. And so stamping, I'm going to stamp this right here and that right there in succulent and evergreen. I really like how evergreen turned out. The succulent, it might have too much ink on it because it's a little bit splotchy, where the evening evergreen stamps perfectly beautifully. I guess the only way to get some of the ink off, well, I guess I could show you that. Soft succulent, evening evergreen. Good, not so good. So, on some paper, I'm going to kind of blot off a little bit of the ink. You're probably like, well, if you just re-inked it, or if it's a brand new one, you want that ink on it. But when doing distinctive stamps, it doesn't always work. It kind of messes things up a little bit. Okay, so I'll get to that in just a minute. So for right now, I'm going to stamp on here. But this one, Evening Evergreen, which I know has the perfect amount of ink on it. And I'm going to do just... This time I'll do like this area. And because I did that extra little step with the beveling of the die, I know it's not going to come out perfect, but that's okay. That came out good. I might even do... I like this stamp. Maybe some of the, I like these dots. Okay, I'm stamping a little bit more on the other bottom corner. Pretty. And I know it doesn't show right through here, but I'm okay with that. Especially when you put it on here. Especially when we get bling on it. Okay, so that with my little whoops ended up just fine. The words, you could kind of see them upside down. Maybe that's where the bling will go. Okay, so this, even though it's on the inside, I'm still going to do some dimensionals. So when I do cards for class or project boxes, I try to not overdo it because it intimidates people, and putting too much bling on and using foils, it gets expensive. But with this, I could go crazy because you already have it. Okay, there's a little dot right there. Not sure what's going on with that. It just might stay there. Okay. So that's for the inside. So now for this piece right here, a little bit of decoration. That's right there. So now I'm going to try this one. And well, a good determining thing would be I used it there. Let's see how it works now. Now that I've taken some ink off, that's better. It's a little bit heavy up there. Okay, come on. Be perfect. Much better. So I'll show you the difference. Much, much better. Okay, we solved it. So the difference between too much ink on it and the right amount is, see how this one, this whole leaf is blob, blob, blob down here, and here you could see all of the detail of the distinctive stamp. Better. So if that happens to you, You know what to do. So now this one I'm going to put in evening evergreen. And I'm just doing a little something in the bottom corner. You could put words up here if you want. Well, I guess you have to leave yourself somewhere to write. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, let's do more. How about that one? Look how pretty that one came out. Okay, looks like I'm going to end up putting them all on here. I'm out of control. Okay, one more, and then that's it. Should I try it in soft succulent? Well, I fixed it. Okay, I need somebody over my shoulder saying, just stop, just stop. It's so pretty. Okay, so I think that's it for this project. Oh no, we still have to decorate the front. Yeah, I got something that's a little tricky, but hopefully it's going to be good. Okay, so let's assemble this one. So sending hugs is going to go right on here, right in the middle. So I'm going to put adhesive, and I might even put glue on just this one half. I'm going to put my fingers under where I do not want glue. And then I'm going to add, just to make sure. Okay, so my little glue bottle, yesterday I was in a bad way with, I think, like all of my liquid glue, everything. So now that's here. I'm just going to put it right in the middle of the card. Straight. Okay, so that's sticking with the adhesive, and then the liquid glue, it's soaking in. It's going to be there forever. So, yesterday, my little pin was clogged. So what did I do? This part right here. I took a pin, put it in there. Where'd the pin go? Oh my gosh, and see how full it is? The pin was all the way down here. I'm like, how am I supposed to get that out? So then, I put it into my backup. Did the pin come out? No! I had to put it in warm water, shake it, dump it into a bowl. It stuck at the bottom. Anyhow, that went on for way too long. Then I tried to use last year's puff paint. Do I have it out still? No. That was clogged up. So I took a pin, stuck it in the end of that. The pin wouldn't come out. So then I tried taking the top off. It wouldn't come off. So Tony went out there with pliers. He got it off, but now it won't go back on because it's all crusty and hard. It was a bad day. But that's okay. It's all fixed now. Okay, so this goes here and here. So that's when I wish that I could hit back up and delete on the video. You know, before all this goes on, let me show you about attaching this piece right here. So this one is just going to be put on with adhesive, regular adhesive. And to make sure, you know what I did? I turned it over right on there and the ink was still wet. This really needs bling over here now. Can you see that? Don't do what I did. Okay, so now take this piece for the inside. Just kind of set it right on there. Get it straightened out. And then close the door. Now it's perfectly lined up under there. Yeah! Looks a little crooked. Let's try it again. Did I push too hard? Line it up. This time I'm going to set it down lightly, and if it's crooked, I'm just going to adjust it. It's crooked again. I'm just going to adjust it. I know that this right here is where it wants to be. Well, I guess all of these things are good that you see them happening, because if they happen to you, you know how to fix it. Okay, so I do see a little bit hanging out over there. See, this one looks perfectly straight, but because there's going to be all this decorating, it's fine. Do you have a sand eraser? Mono sand eraser. It's kind of like a nail file, but it'll take off the top layer, which is what the ink is. If you do it too hard though, it kind of roughs up the paper too much. I think that lightened it about half. Okay, back to where we were. This thing is going to go right onto here, and I'm going to put it on with dimensionals just because I want room to tuck these little pretty leaves under here. Oop, we're out of the big ones. Well, do you ever have days when everything just is a little bit of a challenge? Okay, so I want adhesive right here, so I'll hold on to it here. Oh, this is a good bad example. See the lines from the Stampin' spot? Yeah. I'll like I said, I'll look for my big pad. It's somewhere. Maybe I'll see it today. So this is going to go onto here, and if you choose to use the other words, the hello there, which is a bit longer, there's a perfect little divot that I used to have the word show, but then the bouquet on the label. Okay, so that looks like it's hanging on pretty good. So now to decorate. Okay, so these things here, I'll tell you, there's only one die, so I ran it through 4 times. You can see I ran it through there, and I ran it through two or three times, and it's still a challenge to pop out, and then to have leaves going this direction and also that direction. The second time, I ran it through this way, thinking maybe that would cut better, but I think this beautiful rose gold and gold paper just does not like to be die cut. So see how I'm trying, it's kind of a challenge to pull it out. Actually, this time it's going better than it was yesterday. But you might have to take your snips and kind of help it along the way. Once it's on there, it's beautiful. But there's probably a better use for this paper, just because if you didn't run it through a few times, this is a little challenging. Okay, so there is one of them. Hopefully these little pieces will come out okay. And I did run it through 2 or 3 times, and it's still challenging. Okay, well, that's not so bad. There's one of them. Here's the other. I want to show you the finished product. Otherwise, I would just kind of skip forward. But I'm sure you're making your card right along with me, so maybe it's good that I'm pausing for a minute. Or delaying getting it done. It is just pouring outside. I want it to just come out. So, in your supplies or in your bundle, if you chose the Plus bundle, you have gold foil paper. It might be better just to do these in foil. Well, see, now it's okay. But they're really pretty in this, and this paper is so pretty. So, your choice. Well, you know what I will do, because this is taking too long. I'll do these, and in the pictures, I'll have it done, but I'll put on one of each color. Oh, and trying to get it to cut from this side, I put an extra piece of paper on here, thinking that would make it thicker, and it helps maybe a little bit, but yeah, it's still challenging. Okay, so I'm going to have one gold and one rose gold, but by the time the pictures, I'll have this all punched out. Let me get this one out, and then we'll finish it up. But like I said, I think that the gold foil, that would work better. It's pretty. It comes in 6 by 6. Okay, good enough. So we have, I'll pretend like this one's done, but I'll clean it up. Then I'll get that one out. Okay, so let's start putting these on. So to put them on, I'm going to put just a little bit of liquid glue on the bottom two leaves in the stem. Just like that. Then I'll put these other two on for the picture. Oh, and so for the bow, this is a little double bow. And the gold is great, but I'm going to try doing it in the white. So here's a little double bow. Put it on with a glue dot. And that just has a little bit of a different look. I kind of like these long tails. But I'll trim them up. And it'll be prettier with the bling on it. Everything's better with bling on it. This will go on the inside. I still like it just as it is. And there's one other little thing I want to do, and then we are done. Okay, so this one is clearly Z-fold, but this one I want to put some dimensionals here to kind of stick these two panels together. Okay, so I put little dimensionals on. That's going to just stick this closed. So now it's more a traditional card. Not so much a Z-fold, just a little bit different. But that's really pretty. Okay, so that is it for card number 2. 2 out of 5. So there's more coming. Thanks for tuning in, and let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.